In this video, we will import test cases with the help of Excel. First, let's inspect our Excel file containing the test cases. As visible, we have 3 separate test cases listed right here. The name in column B, description in column C, and other details of the test case such as the pre-actions, post-actions, test steps, expected result, and the requirement that it verifies. An important thing to note here is the fact that all of the test steps are contained within one cell. This will be important in a few moments, so please note this fact. Let's open our Codebeamer interface now. Then let's navigate to our test cases. After this, let's open the context menu and select Import. Here, let's attach the file that we just opened. Then click Next. Next, let's take a look at the various options that we have during the import procedure. The first one is crucial, as this is where we can define where to start our import procedure. In our Excel file, the first row is the header of each column. Therefore, it is vital to start the import procedure at row number 2. Then we can define the date format used within our Excel file. We can even define the time zone if we wish to have a different time zone compared to our system default. After this, we can define the number format used in our Excel file, and with the help of the next option, we can define what format of text did we use within the cell where we have inserted our description for the test case. The next setting is pretty handy and it's called skip data/cell with value. With the help of this option, you can look for specific values within the cells, and if the import procedure finds a match, that cell will be skipped. Next up, we have an option called data hierarchy based on column, and this is where we can define how to set up our test case hierarchy after the import. You can select different fields or use the default field, which is the name in this case. If you add indentations within the specified column, you can arrange the test cases into a hierarchical structure or parent-child hierarchy. Next, we have defined and update existing items by option. By default, Codebeamer will look for matching IDs between our tracker and the Excel file, and if it does find one, it will update the existing test case instead of recreating it as a new one. Of course, we can select different fields. And finally, with the data/cell type mapping, we can double check if our data within the cell is matching with the mapped field, such as date format to date and numerical to numerical. At the bottom, you may have noticed that there is a preview of our Excel file. This is where we do our mapping. Codebeamer aims to recognize and match the defined columns to the data fields within the tracker. Therefore, as you may have noticed, some of these columns are already mapped to specific data fields. Whatever is not yet mapped, we have to do so manually. So let's start doing that. After we finish our mapping, let's click on Next. After the data is checked, we still have a few options left, such as account mapping, which basically defines which username will be associated with these new test cases. Status mapping is rather straightforward. You can define the statuses of these test cases immediately. Strict import for new items, which means that when importing new items, the procedure will not import test cases in which the reference field's value is not allowed by the tracker configuration. After this, we have the option how to handle empty cells. We can either leave them empty or fill it up with an initial value configured in the tracker. Then we can define if we wish to import all or just specific fields for new items, and the same thing for existing items. And we can even check for duplicated steps within our test cases. There's also an advanced configuration option hidden at the bottom part of the screen, where we can define conversion options. You may remember that I've highlighted the fact that all of the test steps for a test case are contained within a single cell. If we would just run our import procedure like that, it would not properly split those test steps into separate steps. Therefore, we will use this conversion option for the test steps. Let's open the drop-down menu, and this is where we can define how we separate the data contained within the cell. In this case, we will use the splitter. We have a few options here how we wish to split our data, and we can find them by expanding the drop-down menu. We can use a separator text, a regex pattern, but the simplest option is what we will use today, and that is a simple line end or line break. Let's click on next. After this, we will have a preview before we finish our import procedure, where it summarizes all of the data that will be imported into our test case tracker. A specific point of interest here is the fact that by simply typing in the exact name of the requirement to the verifies column, Codebeamer was able to look for that specific requirement and immediately create the reference between the test case and the requirement. Let's click on Finish. After this, you will receive a notification that the import job has started in the background, and you will see the test cases uploaded as soon as this background procedure is finished.